2021, Oakland Police Commission, racial profiling ad hoc from Chair Jackson, asking for documents, and it says my name in it. And it says documents associated with Ali Salim Bey and racial profiling dated 2021. The letters dated 2019, no response. This says 2021, racial profiling was known on May 2021. July 2021, Ross produced independent evidence of racial profiling. 2 years ago, between there, we have had zero action on acting on that Islamic discrimination. And so that's why I'm here to call you on it. And if you can investigate it in 2023, you could have investigated it in 2021 because nothing has changed in the law.
If I may?
Yes, sir.
I would just like to make the motion to do the thing.
Go ahead with it.
Cool. So,
I'll second. A couple questions from Commissioner Howell.
Do we know what role Polbar had in squelching any of the information in the Ross report? Do we know that?
I can. Polbar is why you only have a year to do discipline for a case, and there's instances where it could be told or delayed, and there's some provisions where you can draw it out, but generally it was created a very long time ago so that officers wouldn't have cases hanging over their heads. So they gave them a very small timeline to be able to mete out discipline on in any investigation.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead?
So I would like to move that we notice the federal judge, Judge Orrick, of the contents of the Knox and Ross report.
Second. Let's take public comment.
May I ask for clarification that it not be the focus of the Knox and Ross report, but a follow-up to the letter that was sent to the court monitor regarding the Bey Matter and requesting? So not to involve the Knox and Ross report.
To involve the actual materials involved, but just to request a follow-up on.
Right, because there's sufficient materials, according to Mr. Bey, that would enable the court monitor to look and act upon, regardless of the Knox and Ross report. And part of it is the sensitivity of that report being in litigation right now, and it also is an attorney-client privilege document.
I can accept that. So amend the motion to reflect that we would be following up with Judge Orrick on the previous letters and insisting upon follow-up on their part and maybe additionally a timeline?
Direct counsel to send a communication as a follow-up with firmer terms as expressed by Commissioner Jackson around a deadline to respond and minimally a confirmation acknowledgement of receipt.
Okay. Yes.
Agreed. So I'm to understand, though, that if they request that report, then we can give that without waiving privilege, if they request that information.
The privilege is with the commission as a client, so that would have to be a secondary conversation. Though that report is not necessary for you to do the work that you want to do vis-a-vis the Bay. Because what we are requesting, what my understanding is, you're requesting the court monitor as the voice and channel to the judge is to look into, investigate racial profiling of OPD. And part of it is because, and I'll use this, understanding the implications of it, but conflicts with CIPRA to conduct this investigation. They're, in essence, conflicted out. And also our IG is not auditing the racial profiling component of it. So therefore, you are asking the court monitor in his role as compliance director to look into this. So it's not necessary to have the Knox and Ross report for it.
And also, could we, in that, is there a task assigned to racial profiling? What we saw online is that there is no task associated with racial profiling. What is the number task?
I think
the point being is, if there is no task number, or if there is, let's just make sure that that task number is acknowledged so we can track it through completion. Right now, it's just, oh, we're talking about racial profiling, but that's real nebulous, and there really is no accountability that we can hold them on. So if there is no task number associated with racial profiling, then let's get one assigned.
Madam Chair, only through you may I be able to respond for the commission's sake, is the spirit of the NSA and why we even have an NSA is because of racial profiling, right, of 20 years ago.
Correct.
So that's one. And then second is task 5, which is deemed out of compliance, is regarding the department's inadequacy of investigation. And that is my understanding of the crux also of the issue of the Bey situation. And that is an investigation was not conducted. And it's believed that it wasn't conducted because it was racially motivated.
Which is a violation of DGO M19, which is
Right.
an actual DGO that's being violated, but that DGO M19 is never spoke about. So I just want to make sure that when you say racial profiling, there is an actual Department of General Order that's associated with it, and that DGO M19 actually has the exact same language as California Penal Code 13519.4E and F, prohibitions against racial profiling under color of law. So therefore, every time that you find a violation of DGO M19 from the police and do not notice the DA, you're in violation because you're breaking California law. So, it's not just administrative. We just want to
Yes,
that
sir.
DGO M19 is criminal
Yes.
also. And this is an administrative body, and this is why we're asking it to go outside of the body.
I absolutely understand that analysis, and I think with the commission, the vehicle to have the court monitor is task 5. So that's how we're getting into the conversation. But when it is determined, let's say theoretically, that an investigation should have been conducted then, and then again, when new evidence was provided of lack of, why an investigation wasn't conducted, the question then becomes, why wasn't it? And that's through the conversation of whether it was racially motivated. So that's the vehicle the commission is coming into, the task 5. And that's how I anticipate writing the letter.
I'll just add that task 34 mentions racial profiling. It's about vehicle stops and field investigation and detention, but it's not specifically outlined as a racial profiling task. Commissioner Jackson.
Indirect but related, is there anything we can do to send a letter of inquiry to Alameda County around this file that has been allegedly taken by a officer? I'm wondering if we can at least lift that up.
to send it to the Alameda DA's office for criminal investigation, if that's what I'm understanding your question. Whether this commission can vote for whatever that file is to be sent to the DA's office for a criminal investigation.
No, so the assertion by Mr. Bey is that a police officer who was here at OPD took it with him to his next assignment in Alameda County. What I'm trying to say is there a way that we can aggressively query about the location of such file to identify where it is, who has it, and then perhaps, the next steps. But okay, so you got me, thanks.
That, in essence, is the request that we are having the court monitor to conduct that investigation and find out where that file is.
Okay.
Otherwise, you are doing your own investigation, and that's the point of not doing so.
Thank you.
Okay, did you want to modify amend your your motion?
Turn my mic on. I believe I sort of had, but let's do it again just for clarity's sake, and so that Commissioner Jackson can officially sort of agree to the second. So the motion is to draft a letter, for council to draft a letter to the federal monitor requesting both acknowledgement of receipt and a timeline around action addressing the Bey Matter.
And we would CC Orrick and possibly DOJ?
Yes.
Civil Rights Division?
Indeed. Those, yes, CCing Orrick and Civil Rights Division.
For the monitor to conduct an investigation.
Yes.
I will agree to that. I like the word require as opposed to request, but whatever gets us some action.
All right.
So that's your second?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's take public comment.
We have public comment from Mr. Bey and Ms. Olugbala.
Salim Bey, I think it's pretty much settled at this point. You have the understanding. I think that what you said is acceptable to us in terms of noticing the NSA monitor and holding him accountable for some sort of answer. I just want to make sure that racial and religious profiling animus and Islamophobia are what he is being tasked with investigating. OPD, systemic racial and religious profiling animus and Islamophobia, because that is what we have contacted the monitor. We've met with the monitor personally in 2014 and 2015. The monitor opened IAD 13-1062. The compliance director's office, the first compliance director, Frazier. He was hired in March of 2013. He opened IAD 13-1062 in July of 2013. Judge Henderson fired him and gave his job to Warshaw in January 2014. 1 week later, OPD closed the investigation of IAD 13-1062 with no files, no case files in their hand, closed it 6 months early, and the monitor's never done anything about that. We want to hold him accountable for this. We want to hold him accountable for the last 10 years that he's known about this and failed to, and stolen Oakland tax dollars while failing to deliver equal justice.
That concludes public comment on this item.
Okay, let's take a vote. Vice Chair Jordan.
Yes.
Commissioner Howell.
Yes.
Commissioner Shea.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
I'm also a yes. The motion carries.